As a result, I'm going to have to use this phone for the map quest. And go park myself at Tillamook Sporting Goods. I'm going to state for the record again, fuck the fucking police. Fuck the goddamn police. There's a difference between talking nice and doing your goddamn job. And you got to hear how that officer, when I asked him about sending me to mental health when I'm trying to turn in crimes that are committed against me, and he wants to say, oh, maybe they thought mental health would help. Well, maybe they would. But the thing is, they don't. And I've explained that repeatedly, and I have to explain that over and over again. Meanwhile, if they did their jobs as mandated reporters like they're supposed to, they're supposed to get a hold of Adult Protective Services. Adult Protective Services and the police are supposed to sit down with you and get any and all information that they can from you about the crimes committed against you. They're supposed to both be in the room together to do this. By not following protocol, it allows them to make up whatever story they want, and for the other mandated reporters to play stupid and claim, oh, they didn't know. That allows it to be the predator's word versus the victim, and when the predator has a badge, that's a no-brainer who's going to win. What I'm trying to do is make it so that the evidence is what's important. Without a friend or family member, I'm stuck in survival mode because I can't take care of myself. And I'm expected to jump through a bunch of really expensive hoops in order to try to get help, and that help does not show up. All these agencies tell me it's not their job, and meanwhile, it's actually all of their jobs. All of these mandated reporters. An allegation of abuse was good enough to begin an investigation, and every single one of these people has done everything they can to prevent an investigation from getting started. By taking advantage of me, lying to me, sending me to other people, pawning me off on others, neglecting me to their fullest ability, illegally and immorally. How did Natalie Bollinger end up dead? Well, a bunch of people decided it was okay to be predatory towards me and my loved ones. And I told on them. When they wouldn't leave me alone, I told on them. Nobody heard me. Nobody listened. They were too busy telling me what to do, what to think, what to feel. Always telling me to move. You know, if you move to here and you move to there. Everybody always tried pawning me off on someone else. Miss Peaches tried to pawn me off on a guy I knew. His name was Peace. It's not his real name. Just the street name. On the bright side, there's one person I know who tells the truth. That person is me. If I screw up, I admit I screw up. If I do something illegal, I'll admit I did something illegal. If there's a child in your brand new Lamborghini and you got the windows rolled up, it's a hot day, it's a black car, and that baby is locked inside, yeah, I'll break a window. If that's what it takes to save that child's life, then yes, it's well worth that window. It's well worth the fine. It's well worth the time in jail. I've proven that time and again. Even those racist little kids, and I guess a lot of them are adults, only barely though. They don't know nothing about the world yet. What they know is racist Tillamook, Oregon. I think I probably recorded the N-word on my channel over a dozen times tonight alone. With all that bullshit with Molly when I first got here, there were no consequences for Molly, only consequences for me. Were there consequences for Tom? Sure there were, but not as many as there were for me. What did I get for helping out Tom? Time wasted, a lot of expenses, and way too much time near Molly. I just wanted her to leave me alone. Over 24 people in this town are witnesses to situations with Molly. People who saw it and heard it. In addition to the recordings on my channel. A lot of the later ones, it's just any time that I saw them. Anytime that I see my predators, I make sure that I pull out my recording device and make sure that it is blatant and obvious that I am recording, because they are less likely to be predatory towards me. Sheriff's Department knows I'm trying to turn in Officer Reeves. There's also a young man here who is, well, in between when that young woman was assaulted and now. He wasn't convicted. He pled no contest to rape. I would say I don't know how I feel about that, but I know exactly how I feel about that. If he actually did that, he shouldn't be free. There's a good possibility he was bullied into that plea. At the same time, I find it hard to believe that any man in America would be dumb enough to do that, unless he was protecting somebody else. Meanwhile, he just turned 18. Which means he was 17 when this situation happened. Why is he free? Now, as far as Officer Reeves goes, he's been harassing that man over a situation, not that situation, but over the situation where the 14-year-old girl was assaulted in the Safeway parking lot by by Deputy Reeves. We've got multiple people on my channel speaking about the felonies committed by Officer Reeves. Some of them say that he's a good cop, and then they follow that up by telling me stories of Officer Reeves committing felonies. I'd say I don't know how I feel about that, except I know exactly how I feel about that. Now here's the thing, if you're a rapist, you don't belong out here in society at all. At the same time, the young man who is a witness to the assault, who was there, who knows details, he even knows the name of the woman who was the 14-year-old girl who was assaulted. Apparently he's friends with her. The man she was trying to turn in was her stepfather. them and the people from TFCC, her parents, the very people that 14-year-old girl, by law, these mandated reporters are supposed to take her report immediately. They're supposed to take her somewhere safe where she can safely make a report. She's a 14-year-old girl. Instead, according to Eli Friend, that's his name, that guy is her uncle. That would make it abuse of power as well as domestic assault. Officer Reeves should not be allowed to have a firearm at this point. That's just based on the evidence that's recorded on my channel. Officer Reeves has been stalking Eli ever since the assault, because apparently Eli tried speaking up then. Nobody heard him. I was told to move elsewhere, over and over and over again. I moved out of this town to where? Warrenton and Astoria. How well did that go over? It fucking didn't. I take this abuse no matter where I go. My predators are allowed to get away with it by calling me mentally ill. Even though the majority of my predators have been to jail and or prison for exactly the things I told you they were doing. And I mean convicted, actually convicted. Found guilty. Not pled no contest. I was bullied into doing a lot of things that were against my best interest. But I had no friend or family member there to do a goddamn thing about it, which made it the police's word versus mine. When the police know you're trying to turn them in, they don't have any incentive, to be honest. They don't have any incentive to do their jobs. Then when we have to go to services where we're treated as if the person that we're talking to is bored. Really, they just want to give you a easy in out. They tell you how to fix it, and you go jump through hoops elsewhere. And their easy fix takes up another 6 months of your goddamn life. Meanwhile, the stuff that Danelle Boggs supposedly set up with TFCC did not do. Instead, they wanted to set me up for therapy a month away so that they could, of course, commit Medicare and Medicaid fraud and bill you, the taxpayers, for all of this shit. I wouldn't have to do desperate things if mandated reporters would do their jobs when they're supposed to do their jobs, which, according to the law here in Oregon, is immediately. All right, let's see if I can get my vehicle up and running. Let's see. Alright, I gotta pee. Oh my god, I'm gonna piss myself. Oh.